A Dolton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now she wants her.
Now she's teasing a big announcement that she claims will result in some of her opponents being arrested and charged.
All right, let's get into the drama swirling around Mayor Tiffany Henyard, and trust us, this one is wild. You won't believe the audacity of some people, and Henyard's recent moves will leave you seriously questioning how anyone could be this brazen in their abuse of power. From unpaid rent, to lavish spending, to threats of arresting her own critics, the situation is spiraling out of control. If you thought local politics couldn't get juicy, think again. Because this story has everything: scandal, corruption, and a mayor who seems to think she's untouchable.
We talked to Tiffany Henyard's landlord, and she says she came to this Thornton Township meeting Tuesday night hoping to get paid what she says she's owed.
Tiffany Henyard, who proudly calls herself a super mayor, might soon be facing something a lot less glamorous than her oversized paycheck. Picture this: she's been living large, spending other people's money, fighting with local officials, and threatening arrests, all while she's behind on paying rent for her own home. That's right. Despite raking in a huge salary as mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thornton Township, she's been dodging rent payments. Her landlord, Janetta Hull, is at her wit's end trying to get her out of the house. Now, imagine being the mayor of a town and owe thousands of dollars in back rent. Yeah, it's a total disaster, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Buckle up, because we're about to break down everything that's been going on with this controversial figure. Let's start with the eviction drama, because it really sets the stage for just how far Henyard's arrogance goes. So, Henyard's landlord, Hull, used to be friends with her. Hull even did some campaign work for Henyard back in the day, and you'd think having that kind of connection would make things go smoothly, right? Wrong. In 2021, when Hull was all set to rent her house out to a different family, she got a late-night call from Henyard saying she wanted the place for herself. Hull, feeling a bit pressured, we mean, it's not every day the mayor of your town asks to move into your property, reluctantly agreed. What could go wrong?
So now I have to pay a special process server in order to get them served, which is more fees for me.
Fast forward to 2023, and things have gone downhill fast. Hull decided to raise the rent by just a couple $100s due to rising property taxes. Henyard, along with her boyfriend Kamal Woods, apparently didn't like that. Kamal, who also works in local government, pulling in a six-figure salary, claimed they couldn't afford the new rent. Can you believe it? We're talking about a couple who together are earning over $300,000 a year, refusing to pay an extra $200 a month. And then they stopped paying rent altogether. Hull says the last payment she received was back in August, and now she's owed more than $5,000 in overdue rent and late fees. But it doesn't stop there. Not only have they failed to pay rent, but Henyard also reportedly changed the locks on the house and garage to keep Hull out, blocking her from accessing her own property for maintenance. It's almost like she thinks being mayor gives her the right to just do whatever she wants, even when it comes to someone else's property.
Just here because I'm at wit's end, and I fear that I'm going to go into foreclosure soon if I can't get this matter handled.
Hull, understandably frustrated, filed an eviction lawsuit against Henyard in late September, but the couple has been evading legal action by dodging the sheriff's attempts to serve the papers. Imagine that the mayor, the person who's supposed to uphold the law, is out here avoiding court papers like she's above it all. It's gotten so bad that Hull had to hire a special process server to track them down. And the cherry on top? Hull says she regrets ever renting to Henyard, describing her behavior as anything but what you'd expect from someone in public office. According to Hull, Henyard blocked her on all platforms, leaving her feeling completely disrespected by someone who she once considered a friend. As Hull said, you would think that as a mayor, she would uphold positive citizen standards. But you don't see that with these people. They feel like they can do whatever they want.
The sheriff's been out here a few times to serve them. For a household that makes, over $350,000 a year.
But honestly, this whole rent scandal is just one small part of Henyard's larger mess. While she's dodging eviction, there's an even bigger storm brewing with her leadership, or more accurately, her lack of it. Henyard's got her fingers in all sorts of controversy, and it's gotten so bad that the FBI is investigating her for possible corruption. That's right, the FBI is involved, and when they come knocking, you know things are serious. A lot of this heat stems from how Henyard's been handling Dolton's finances, or rather mishandling them. The village is currently facing millions of dollars in debt, and a lot of fingers are pointing at Henyard's reckless spending. If you think her personal finances are bad, wait until you hear about what she's been doing with taxpayer money. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was actually brought in to investigate Dolton's financial mess, and the findings are pretty damning. Under Henyard's leadership, Dolton's general fund has tanked. In April 2022, the village had 5, $61 million in its general fund, but by May 2024, that had plummeted to a deficit of $365 million. How does a town go from having millions in the bank to being nearly $4 million in the hole? Well, the spending habits uncovered in Lightfoot's investigation might have something to do with it.
It's just getting to be redundant, and we're getting tired of coming here, not having the laws followed, not having a meeting.
Henyard has reportedly been treating the village's credit cards like her own personal piggy bank, running up ridiculous charges on everything from Amazon to Wayfair. And we're not talking about a few $100 here and there. No, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars in single transactions. One day in January 2023, she spent a jaw-dropping $40,000 on Amazon and followed it up with 2 more purchases, totaling nearly $10,000. Who does that? It's insane to think that a mayor, someone who's supposed to be looking out for the community, is out here dropping thousands of taxpayer dollars like it's monopoly money.
I will be seeking arrest for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges.
But it doesn't stop there. Another investigation found that Henyard spent more than $67,000 on first-class travel and luxury hotels. For example, during a trip to New York City, she and her team stayed at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square, where the bill came to over $13,000. That's not exactly the budget-friendly option most people would go for. In Atlanta, she racked up another $9,000 at the Four Seasons. And let's not forget the fine dining records show that from July to November, more than $23,000 was spent on restaurant bills. Henyard has refused to explain the purpose of these trips. But when you're living it up in 5-star hotels and fancy restaurants, it's hard to believe it's all for official business.
Thornton Township tonight as another board meeting got canceled because of a lack of a quorum.
And that came after a disagreement about where to hold the meeting as trustees expressed concerns for their safety.
The fallout from this outrageous spending has been severe, with Dolton struggling to pay its bills and vendors going unpaid for months. Lightfoot's report revealed that over $6 million worth of checks had been printed for village vendors, but never sent out. Think about that for a second. The village owes millions to people who've provided goods and services, and yet the mayor's out here splurging on Amazon and staying in the Four Seasons.
Henyard's landlord showed up here to see her tenant in person after she says Henyard has been dodging both her and rent payments for months.
Local residents are understandably furious. Andrea McKay, a Dolton resident, said she was devastated by the news, especially knowing that seniors in the community are struggling to make ends meet while Henyard's out there spending like there's no tomorrow. And former village trustee Valeria Stubbs didn't hold back either, saying Tiffany needs to be locked up. She needs to be made an example of. She can't just go around using our money and spending it however she wants, like the job comes with a cash register. Stubbs isn't the only one who feels that way, and as more details come out, the pressure on Henyard continues to mount. Now, if you thought Henyard would back down after being exposed like this, you'd be wrong. She's doubling down on her power grabs, going as far as to threaten her critics with arrest. Yep, she's actually trying to arrest people who disagree with her. In an hour-and-a-half-long Facebook Live rant, Henyard went on about how she's planning to press charges against those who have been pointing fingers at her. She didn't specify what crimes she thinks have been committed, but her tone made it clear that she's out for revenge. She accused her opponents of being involved in a power and money grab and promised to reveal more dirt on them in the future. But here's the thing, this isn't the first time she's threatened to spill the tea. She's done this before, even in a short-lived podcast where she promised to expose corruption, only for nothing to come of it.
It's a power grab. That's it. Power and money grab.
It's hard to take her seriously when, at the same time, she's facing an FBI investigation and lawsuits from her own village trustees. These trustees are no longer willing to sit by while Henyard wreaks havoc on the town's finances. They've blocked her attempts to spend more money and have filed a lawsuit against her, alleging she forged checks and withheld financial records. The tension between Henyard and the trustees has escalated to the point where they're holding separate meetings because they can't agree on a location. A judge recently ruled that village meetings could be held at the local park district for more space, but only if Henyard presides over them. It's like a power struggle out of a soap opera, with Henyard clinging to her position despite all the controversy.
Does all this point the finger to Tiffany or allow me? I'm over it. Now it's time for me.
Trustee Jason House, who's part of a group of trustees trying to bring some order back to the village, called the judge's ruling a victory for the community. This upholds the principles of fairness and transparency, he said, emphasizing the need to put the people of Dolton first. But that's not what Henyard seems to be focused on. Her relationship with the trustees has become so toxic that they've been holding separate meetings without her, leading to a lawsuit where she's fighting to have her meetings recognized as the official ones. It's a bizarre situation that shows just how far things have unraveled under her leadership.
In a month, a Thornton Township board meeting was canceled, this time because Supervisor Tiffany Henyard and a trustee couldn't agree on where to have the meeting.
What's even more shocking is that, despite all of this, Henyard still has the nerve to announce she's running for re-election. Can you believe it? In the midst of an FBI investigation, facing eviction, and with her community in financial ruin, she's out here telling people she deserves another term. It's honestly mind-blowing how disconnected from reality she seems. Henyard is betting that Dolton's residents will continue to support her. But with each new scandal, it's getting harder to imagine how she could regain their trust. So what do you think? Will Tiffany Henyard manage to dodge the consequences of her actions, or is she headed for a downfall? How does someone with this much controversy still have the audacity to run for re-election? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama.